Hello everyone, and welcome, finally, to Let's Play Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. I'm so excited for this game. Obviously, everyone's hyped for Bloodlines 2, and I'm definitely gonna Let's Play that as well. But I love visual novel games like this, and so I've been looking forward to this game specifically for a while now. And coincidentally, it came out on my birthday. So I used some of my birthday money to just immediately download this thing. I've played a little bit of it. I haven't gotten too far in it. I haven't gotten past night 1, just because I wanted to see what it's like, because there's a few different routes you can go down, and I wanted to decide what was my favorite. So this, much like my Disco Elysium playthrough, is going to be a lot more chilled out. More focused around, it's a visual novel, so there's a lot of reading. It's going to be more focused around, like, role-play and storytelling. There's going to be some jokes, obviously, but, it's not going to be laugh a minute, so... sit back, relax, get a bowl of popcorn, maybe, and let's enjoy the story. I'm going to overwrite that. And I already know what I'm going to be, but we're going to look through the 3 clans we have available. The Bruja, the Rabble, rebel against power and rage against authority. A seeming insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. The Ventrue, the aristocratic blue bloods, embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. And the Toreador, the divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty, amid stagnant undeath. So, unfortunately, my favorite clan, the Gangrel, isn't here, and they're not Bloodlines 2 either. But I am going to play the Toreador. We're going the Toreador route. Also, another thing about this game, you don't really make your own character. You're given a character that, has a backstory and a family life, and you step into their shoes, which I actually like. It would have been cool to make your own character, but I really like this approach too, so... We're playing as Lamar. And let's begin. Yes. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. That we're all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's no need to be hostile. Just listen for a little longer. You see, my mistake was... I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in the eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance, and thought that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within, and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided it would fit me much better. She was a 9th-generation kindred just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed showing me, a peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying, you're eternally doomed to being at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom. It was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get that wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think you won't get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really does exist. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. It's been a slow evening. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on your plate remind you that, if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met that one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. Then there's the obligatory doe-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. That ignoble dubious honor belongs to one of the other paintings on display. And yet, its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy knapes? Question mark? So many sycophants to meet, so little time. For a moment, you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should take the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation and get it over with. And, as if the universe wanted to validate that train of thought, that's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. So let me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you? Hi, Em. You absolutely despise her as an artist. While you're struggling to hold up some nebulous ideals of what art is meant to be, she's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on little-known street artists and niche internet memes, she repackages them as bougie-friendly collages. So it's perhaps no wonder the NYT has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. But in spite of all that, you love her as a person, even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. Whoever wrote this wrote his siblings. No, but seriously, supporting young artists my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this piece, but I doubt it was even a fraction of what it's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS, and I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer and then segue into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you'd do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, "You know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills." As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. Damn, Lamar. She claims to happily accept the fact that after she dies, both she and her work will end up in a landfill. Jeez, Mark! Lamar? Why did I think Mark? When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 in a million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before, and managed to accept that you'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely, you move on to more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get hammered together, or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Alright, gotta go. I've got a date. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst Lectrix jokes they've got in their stale repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there. And you're the worst. And the best. You could feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put the money in your wallet and move outside. When you reach the balcony, you look at the New York City and light the second-to-last cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up. But it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The streetlights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork, beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Working title, Delusion of Grandeur. The author, a brilliant artistic soul, crushed by unfeeling reality, gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Damn. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part? He's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself now. People standing in silent awe, the guy like a beacon drawing everybody's attention. Hushed conversations about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach, feeling like a kid trying to get close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you'll scare it away. The man turns to you, and you stop in your tracks, entranced.
So, this is one of your pieces.
You manage to mumble an affirmation.
Tell me about it, please.
As you start discussing your inspiration and technique and process, the man's eyes lock onto the painting. He keeps interjecting, making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you. But you realize you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you.
I want to buy it, and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You'll like what I have to say.
Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up, like he knows that you won't refuse, that you can't refuse. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment, one of many, you presume, with your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You'll tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in NYC, how you had to take a loan to appear at tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony, that you thought about taking the plunge, and this time you were only half joking. You feel miserable. You start crying. He holds you in his arms. You feel calmer. The tears stop flowing. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to, but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? Maybe there's hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he still here? Ah, thank goodness. Yes, there he is, standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope, until you realize what he's saying.
I'm sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment, I wish you well.
You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him. Alone. Again. Then the pain hits. It's a headache. A lurching in your stomach. A burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies into a wall, shattering into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape, stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman, inch by inch. The pain turns into an urge. You need to get close to her. You begin to see details. The long hair shrouding her face, the worn-out NYU hoodie thrown over her skimpy peach-colored dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. A rabid instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweat, mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. You bite down and drink the blood from her veins. Wait, what is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try to crawl back. Her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's like bliss you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again. Fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh god, she's not moving. Oh damn. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing. No heartbeat. And no sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest is moving either. Your heart is not beating. You are cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Or maybe he took it? Impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment, but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here, now. You look outside the window. You're high above the streets. There's no balcony, and the building's exterior is glass almost all the way down. You'd never survive the jump. Maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You've just killed someone. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does. And the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately. Instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beat again with excitement as the door opens. Almost, but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life. You immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He's a predator, and if you're not careful, you might become his prey.
Good evening. I'm here to pick you up.
A deep, emotionless voice. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in the purple NYU hoodie and raises an eyebrow. This isn't what it looks like. Please, you have to help me.
That's what I'm here for, after a fashion.
He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close.
Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture, actually, if troublesome.
He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one.
Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you. And you see, they tended to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones, those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go safe and sound. And then there were the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off and make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all.
The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered this speech countless times by now.
So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. Love baseball. And it inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system to determine if someone is dumb. If you get on my nerves 1 or 2 times, well, I understand not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy.
His presence changes ever so slightly.
Say, I understand, sir. Now.
You feel an overwhelming, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. I understand, sir.
Excellent. Alright. Have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're alright?
He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him.
Someone closest to you.
His name is Eduardo. He's my boyfriend. He lives in Queens. He's a barista, and a stranger's been watching you with wary eyes since the moment you started talking, but only interrupts you at the first moment of visible hesitation.
You're 100 years too young to try and fool me, whelp. Even your tells have tells. First strike. Try again.
Your first instinct is to protest, but you realize your thoughts are still too scrambled and panicked to come up with anything coherent. You give up on all planned attempts to provide poor Eduardo with convincing psychological depth. I love this writing. Emma, my sister. She's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artist friends. Can I call her now? You take out your phone while asking the question. He shakes his hand and points at the hooded corpse next to him.
If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know.
Yeah, agreed.
Give me your phone number. I'll have someone get in touch with her.
You oblige and hand him the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts.
Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point.
Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket.
From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anybody know you are still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over, both for you and them.
He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes.
So if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson next week, cooperate.
The sight of his fangs again, and another physical flight-or-fight response. You've played right into his hands, putting Em in danger.
I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish.
By now, you're absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you, but to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of? Somehow he makes all these options seem plausible at once.
Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today.
He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, whatever that is. The kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Oh, Lamar, you have no idea how right you are.
It's past 3 a.m. now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come, we need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of.
He turns his back on you to unlock the door. Nah, okay. You obediently follow him out of the room. Before he locks it again, you manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience, but not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you don't feel guilty, even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror.